Fearfully, wonderfully made family. Today is January 12th. It is going to be Wealthy Monday, but before I get into Wealthy Monday and what that simply means, I want to pay honor to my mother, Elizabeth Ann Thomas, who was a force to be reckoned with. Just an amazing, beautiful, tender-hearted, saucy, and sassy. And my mama was a bully. She bullied, okay? But she was just so tender in her as she got older. She just was getting meltdown and stuff like that. And I affectionately called her my little old lady. She loved it. She found such humor out of that. And I would be like, hi, little old lady. Hi, my little old lady. She'd be like, oh, Kesa. And she just would laugh and chuckle. And she just literally embraced that. She loved being called that. And now why she loved being called like that, I don't know. Maybe it was just the affection of it all. I don't know. You know, I genuinely love to harass my parents. I'm one of those that like to harass their parents because I don't know, I got a kick out of it. And I would harass her because she was the only parent I had left. And so, you know, I would do the stalking, like, you know, where are your mama? You know, no ma'am. You know, they got this video out now, and I can't remember the video who did it, but they are talking about will you stop stalking your parents? Grown children, will you stop stalking your parents? And this guy was like, no, I'm sorry, he said, what did he say? I respectfully disagree. That's what he said. He said, no, ma'am, I need to know where you are at all times. You need to answer my call, and you need to understand that I'm going to keep calling until you answer the phone. And it was hilarious because that was the relationship I had with my mother. Now, I always talk about my mother and I's relationship was tumultuous at times. That was due to family trauma and different things that happened. And I'll go into that a different time. But in the midst of it, my mother was this beautiful person. She really was. She blossomed into this wonderful rose. And y'all, roses really do smell like boo-boo. They smell like manure. Now, anyway, y'all, so I was like the person, I genuinely like to harass my mother. My mother would be out at 10 at night, y'all, and I'd be asking my mother, Mama, why are you out at 10 at night? My mother was an insurance agent, so she would go out at these times and she would collect these premium payments. And I'll be like, Mama, listen, why are you doing that? Because I did the same thing as my mother, right? Hold on, y'all, for a second. I'm going to get over. And I did the same thing as my mother, but I would do my stuff like at a different time. You know, I would be like, do my stuff in the daytime because at nighttime I got to go and do some other stuff, you know. But my mother, she was determined to get them people payment, write a premium. She didn't care. She'd be doing it. And I'd be just fussing at her like, Mama, it is too late at night. You know you're supposed to be in the house. She was bold, y'all. When I tell you this little woman was brave, she was brave. She said she stood all about 5'2". And she was so brave. She's like, they ain't gonna do nothing to me because I got this thing in my car and you know what I do. You know, my mother... You know, she didn't let nothing stop her. And that was what was the most beautiful thing about her. And she would often say, you know, Kesa, where's the fight in you? Because, you know, I got tired of fighting all the time. You know, I'm tired of fighting, right? And she like, no, you need to fight. Don't be letting people do this to you. And she was constantly in my ear. Don't you let them do that. And wada. And just she said what she felt, y'all. And I think that's where I get it from. Like, my mother did not mince her words. And then she would say to me, you know, Casey, you're being a little curt with your words. I need you to just not say much. Because she know I cut people up one side up and down. And I'm saying to her, Mama, you know, look who calling the kettle black. You're telling me that I don't need to be saying certain things, but you gonna get them told in a minute. But see, I was 10 times worse than my mother, and she knew that. She knew that. Like, if she didn't have a filter, I didn't have one. My filter is the Holy Ghost. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's my filter. He makes me filter it in, because I be wanting to tell people where to go, how fast to go, and don't come back no more. And so, you know, when you fill with the Holy Spirit, you know, you get reeled in there. You get reeled in. But needless to say, you know, my mother was just, she was cut from a different cloth, y'all. She just was cut from a different cloth. And I'm cut from that same cloth, obviously. So I'm out here today. I'm going to be working. I'll probably wind up going by the gravesite. But I know my mother would be like, girl, thank you, but I don't need you doing all that. I need you to carry on the legacy. I need you to do the things that I want you to do. But Mama, you don't have no more say so no more. I get to do and say what I want. Honestly, guys, I don't really know how I feel. I think I feel a mixture of emotions. I think that some of the things I'm thinking about talking about with you all is it's therapeutic and healing for me in a way. It doesn't take away the hurt. It doesn't take away the disappointment of how everything went down. And that's another story for another day. But at any rate, y'all, the other name I used to call my mom, I was like, look here, Busy Lizzie, where you going? But she actually got that name from a co-worker and a friend of ours. And she would always be like, Busy Lizzie, where you going? What you doing today, Busy Lizzie? When I tell you, my mother was 79 years young, and she was all over the place, honey. She was doing whatever she wanted to do, whenever she wanted to do it, okay? Let's talk about that real quick, because that's just what she did. You know. But my mom has been gone 1 year, y'all. And 1 year after living without my mother, how has it been? A whirlwind, a tsunami. You know, I have to be honest, it has not been this thing that I've walked into, oh, it's great joy. No. It's been with great sadness. You know, going through the 5 stages of grief, and I can't remember them all, but denial, anger, disappointment, and then the last one is acceptance, and I don't know what the 4th one is, and I probably said it all out of order, whatever. But and it just going through things with people in your life, not having the support, and just, dealing with not having, a job anymore, and having to come up with ways to do it. And yes, that is my responsibility. It is not that of my relatives or anything like that. I don't put that on them, but it is just so nice to know that if you ever needed somebody to help you, they would be there in a heartbeat. And that was my mother. My mother didn't care about me being 53 years old. She was like, you need help, so you need to come and do what you need to do. And when I say there's no one like mama, there's just not nobody like mama. Now, my godmother comes in, she comes in second best to that. Because, honey, she gonna do what she do. And it don't even matter about what I be talking about. So if you are blessed, you have two moms that are a blessing in your life. My godmom is my bonus mother that God gave me. And her and my mother were really good friends. I'm a little speechless at this moment, and I'm just really speechless. And then, like, I have another godmother. They were good friends as well, and it's been rough on them too. It's been rough on my god brother. It's been rough on my god sister, my mother's godchildren. It's been rough on them too. It's been rough on my on my godson. That was his other mom, grandmom. It's been rough, and it's been rough on certain parts of the friends and all that, because they love my mother as another mother and an aunt. They loved her. They literally did. So it's been a quite an interesting journey. And what I will say is that what I've learned is not to have expectations of people. Because people cannot be whatever it is that you want them and need them to be. So any of you that are going through what you're going through, hang on in there. And don't let anybody tell you what grief is supposed to look like. I'm so sick of these people telling me what grief is supposed to look like. Grief looks like whatever it looks like. One day it looks like, okay, I'm okay. The next moment it looks like, I can't do this. The next moment it looks like I'm falling out and I'm losing it. So those people that are like on the news that want to judge, like the Ericas and anybody else about how they should grieve and the way they need to grieve, and you don't look like you're grieving and all of this stuff. Some people don't carry it on their shoulders. Let's get that clear right now. Everybody does not carry what they're going through on their shoulders and say, look at me, I'm grieving, I'm falling apart. That is for those of you that really need that attention seeking stuff. I don't do all that. I tell a story. And I'm always going to tell it from a place of strength and a place of empowerment, only because God is holding me together. He is the glue that keeps my mind. It doesn't mean that I don't miss my mother any less. It doesn't mean that I don't cry. I just don't do it in the public. And there's very short occasions where you will see me shed a tear. It has to be at that moment when I have just, my cup is full and I have to release. But don't let nobody tell you how you should grieve. Some people go back to work and they work. Because that's how they process their loss. Some people overeat and they gain weight. That's grief. It's grief. Some people in the moment, they're strong, y'all. They're strong. They're strong. They're strong in that moment. They're able to just deal with what they got to deal with. It is not easy. Today I am out here at the cemetery. I decided to come on out here while I was talking with y'all. I'm going to stop by this floral shop. And I'm going to get some flowers for my mother and my father. And I will talk to y'all later.
Don't worry about me, I'ma be alright. Got G.O.D. all over my life. Don't worry where I've been, what I did, how I came up. Everything was a sin until they changed. Don't worry about me.